Hey everyone, welcome back to the Valencia Career Mode. It's the official reboot. We haven't uploaded this in a while, but now you guys are going to get a steady dose of the Cruyff 343 Diamond. It's coming back. Let's recap Season 1 first. We got 5th, guys, and honestly it was a very successful season. We were supposed to get European football, and we did. 2 points clear of Villarreal. We actually ended up getting Europa League, so a very successful season. 72 goals. That's tied for 3rd in the league. We really did crank it up late in the season. That cohesion started to show. And yes, we lost 52 goals, but that is part and parcel because of how dangerous and risky we can play at the back with this formation. But overall, very successful season, guys. And we are moving on to Season 2 now. I'm going to show you the core DNA sheet. We are implementing the full Buzzko's realistic career mode rule set. I didn't have it back then, this full one, but now it's here. And this is what the core DNA sheet should have looked like when I started this career mode. So high emphasis on academy. We always wanted to bring in youth. Salinas is a perfect example, and we're going to focus on that. We have a lot of academy slots because we put 8 DNA points into the strand, and we have perks that let us sign better players, sign more of them, fill that youth academy, and be able to promote them to the first team after. So that is why academy is so high. We are also highly focusing on development because those academy players will need further development. We brought in a ton of young players in the first season. We had 8 signings. Most of them were under 23. And we needed the bonus to signing those players. We needed Tinkerman to then change their position. Marcus Antonio was a perfect example. We bought a center mid who we then changed into a left winger. That was a golden decision. And then once these players start to age, we will need to develop them and specialize them even further. That's why we picked Dilly Ding Dilly Dong as our trait in the development tree. So that is the 2 main pillars, really, of this career mode for Valencia. Young players who develop. Now, we had to supplement that with a really good networking system because we wanted to dip into different markets, as we did for De Ketelaar from Belgium. We brought in Vierman from Netherlands, so we needed a lot of locations where we're able to pick these players, handpick specialized players who really fit this Cruyff 343 Diamond system. That's why we put a lot of emphasis into networking. We also put a ton of emphasis into recruitment, and there's 2 reasons for that. One is because the base ability for it is getting a return on those players. We're not going to be able to keep all of them in the long run. So when we do sell, we want to be able to get as much money from it as possible. So having a higher recruitment value will give that to us. And the perks on this tree, especially later on, will help us immensely with retaining our players. We don't want to bounce around having to sell them all the time because this system is so very specific and you really need specialized players with specific skills. They don't grow on trees. So when I get them, I want to keep them as long as possible. That's why locked in is there, intact core, happy to stay. It's all going to enable us to retain those players. Now we are going to neglect, because we have to neglect something, operations and employment. Our wage rise won't be that high because employment is at 1. We get it. We also don't have too many bonuses to signing players. We're going to have to deal with that. We are bringing our own in from the academy. That will help. And operations, we neglected because we're not going to make money traditionally here through merchandising profits, prize money, etc. We're going to sell some of those young players and make sure we fuel our little career mode economy that way. The rest of the points went into culture. Every club needs it. I feel like it's very fitting for this young, academy-driven, development-driven career mode to have a decent amount of culture. We picked family club, fanatical as well, to even more so bolster that retaining players persona. And that's it. That's the core DNA sheet for how it should have looked like in Season 1. Now we move on to how the club sheet looked like in Season 1. We inputted the wages, the starting budget, everything as it should have been. We moved on to the finances sheet. We had 60 million to start. So really quite a nice haul to start off the first season, especially for La Liga. Some of these budgets are really small, but Valencia is quite nice. And we actually made 30 million by the end of the season because we really did sell quite a bit of players that we either didn't need or we just got poached. Paulista was a heartbreaker, but there was players like Gomez who just didn't fit the system, and we fetched at a really good price. We sold some fringe players, we did good deals, and we were able to make overall 30 million. So that is going to all carry over into Season 2, and it's going to really help us if we do need 1 or 2 transfers. The finances sheet at the end of the first season looked like this. Quite a bit of earnings. You've got your merchandising profits, your prize money. Most of that we're not going to use in this career mode because we have operations at one, and that's probably not going to change. But we do have over 50 million in match tickets, and that's why our sponsor is set to ticket revenues, and that base 25% is always available to us. So we're going to get a little bit of an injection of cash from ticket revenues, which is always good. In terms of expenses, nothing much to look at. Again, 150 million for transfers, but we did make 180 million, so that 30 net will come in handy. Now, all of this stuff was inputted into the end of season financial report. Everything is filled out. We filled out our achievements. We got 5th. We got the Europa League, 18 wins. Our new overall is 79. We started off as 77, so we developed quite nicely. Our young players came through, and we're going to be getting 1 DNA point and 3 trait points. That is reflected over in the top left. We are getting those points, and this is how I decided to allocate it now coming into the second season. We got 1 more DNA point into Academy. We picked up Boyhood Club immediately. Again, we're trying to retain all our graduates here. That will also apply to guys like Soler and Gaia. That will be extremely important. We picked up the defensive playstyle, and only because it lets us buy defenders, but also central mids. That's very important because most of the midfielders we buy are simply central mids that then specialize into different areas, but that passing is usually associated with central midfielders. So I ended up picking defensive, even though it sounds a little bit weird. And we picked up Gentleman's Agreement, again, just to bolster our ability to retain all these players and keep our core together. Now we move on to our board objectives for this season, guys, and we got pretty lucky, I feel, overall. So for youth development specifically, not too much to handle here. I mean, 1 player signed in the first season to play 50% in the next season. I already have a candidate I'll show you guys later, but this shouldn't be too difficult. Brand exposure is a bit difficult. I'd say 12 wins in home league matches out of 19. That is going to be tricky, but if we can beat the minnows, I believe we can do this. And I feel like signing 1 crucial player to a defender position is actually something we need because we've got Nandez on right back and he's okay. Vas is getting older. We might actually need a right back and maybe someone at center back if Boscagli and Mosquera don't really carve out a dominant position. I feel like that's decent. In terms of a financial goal, this is pawns. It's nothing hard. 3 million profit from youth players. It falls right into the hand I wanted to play. Domestic success. We remember from the first season, we were supposed to get Champions League in the second season. And I feel like after getting Europa League in the first, we can do this. Not a problem. Hopefully we don't crash out of Copa de España this time because that was kind of embarrassing against Las Palmas. We lost 5-4 right in the first game. So hopefully that doesn't repeat itself. And I feel like the most difficult part of this will be continental success because they want us to reach the finals of the Europa League. And if we increase to an 80 overall by the end of the season, maybe that is somewhat realistic. Very ambitious for sure, but maybe we can do it depending on the draw. Hopefully we don't get a big English club, and I feel like if we don't, then we stand a good chance. Now, the budget for this season. So we've got current weekly wages at 660,200. We will put that into the finances sheet, and we've got 188 million. Now, obviously, that isn't going to be all available to us. 80 million will for sure, because that was our carryover, so we will have a nice budget. After we inputted this all into the club sheet, we're going to go to the finances sheet now, and we ended up getting 103 million. 80 of that is carryover, and we didn't get a lot from that 100 extra the board gave us. We essentially got 20 million. Very low operations. Most of it came from ticket revenues from the sponsor and from the base 25%. So overall, we injected an extra 25 million. This is a healthy budget, and I'm thinking that we're only going to sign a few players because we signed 8 in the first season, and you can really only sign 5 in my rule set. We're going to balance it out and make sure we only sign 2, and I feel like that'll be fair. Okay, so here's a quick overview of those signings. As you can see, they're on the screen here, plus Boscagli, which we got in the winter, for a total of 8 players. So that's why we're going to keep our signings to 2 players this season, average it out at 5, and since we have the fresh blood perk, that falls perfectly within our rule set. We have to address some of the contract situations here though, especially the roles. So we have a max of 6 crucial players, 8 important, and 6 rotation players, and since we already are maxed out at crucial, and we need to bring in 1 defender at the crucial role, we need to make room. So with our role renegotiation, we are going to bring Vas back down to important. He's the lowest overall, he's aging, and I feel like in real life he would accept a slightly smaller role as he realized that we have plenty of room at the important position. We're going to move some players around from rotation into important and then from sporadic into rotation. I feel like it's not that bad. We do have a decent squad here. We also have to look at some of the wages. Some of them are very low. When we signed them, we didn't have this rule set. We are going to try to keep to our wage structure. And another important thing we have to do is make sure that some of these release clauses get updated, because some of our players have developed tremendously and we are going to lose them for way less than market value. We're going to have to make sure all that is updated so that they don't get just taken from under us. That is a priority here. Okay, so moving on to the transfer market. In addition to that crucial defender, I wanted to bring in a former player, and I had my eyes set on Daniel Parejo, perfect for our system. CM with over 90 short passing. He played for a number of years for us, and we can't get him because he's in a rival club, he's in Villarreal, and that broke my heart. I had my eyes set on him, he would have been perfect. But so instead, we had to settle on someone else, but I still wanted to bring in someone who played in our club, and honestly, someone who shouldn't have left. And we found him in Mallorca. Easy transfer, very realistic because they got relegated into the second league here. 16.5 million market value. He's 77 overall with 82 potential. He's from South Korea, guys. Can you guess who it is? We're going to pay 26.4 million for him. It's Kangin Lee, guys. 30k in wages. He's an important player, so he fits that role. And honestly, he can play striker, left wing, right wing. He can play cam. He's going to be very versatile for us. And here we go, 26.4 million, guys. So I feel like that's a really good transfer. He fits the mold. And because we are strengthening again in that forward position, we're going to have to make sure some of our players go out on loan. And that's exactly what I did after that. Tried to loan Musa, but Burnley wanted a loan with option to buy. Having none of that because he's a really good player. I don't want to get rid of him. Just want to get him some playing time. We were able to loan out Gozabales to Norwich. That's a really good one for 2 years. He'll gain some overall and some experience. Blanco, very similarly to Borussia Mönchengladbach, all without an option to buy. And then we were able to sell some of our surplus players. Like Folke, we got 8.5 million from the board for him. So that increased our transfer budget after the Kangin Lee transfer to 84 million. Then we sold Tarega, which was definitely surplus to requirements. We got 1 million from the board. That brought it up to 85 million. And then one of our loanees coming back from last season, our CB here, he's not going to be in our plans. We have Mosquera at this position, so we sold him. We got 2.4 million, and that brought our total up to 88 million. And this is basically all we're going to get for this season. And so that's how much we have to spend on that crucial either right back, hopefully, or CB, in any case, for our crucial defender. And that is going to buy us a peach of a player, hopefully a world-class player. It's going to take a little bit of time to find him. If you have any suggestions that would fit within the framework of a realistic transfer, please leave it in the comments section. But for now, that is the news and the stuff going on behind the scenes in terms of the transfer market. Okay, now we're going to do some more administrative stuff. We're going to do the GTN scouting section. So if you look at our GTN scouting sheet, we actually got pretty lucky in the randomized locations we got. We got Italy, France, Germany, and Belgium. That's a great pool of locations that we can scout in. We then supplemented that with our expanded network being in England, our chief scout in Holland, and our scouting base in the Americas. So this really does give us a wide range of countries that we can scout and bring in actual really good talent. In terms of the amount of scouts we can have, 5 4.5-star scouts. And if you look at it, we are able to keep all the scouts we had. That falls perfectly in line with our rule set. So we've got 1 scout in Spain, 1's in France, we've got 1 in England, 1 in Germany, and the 5th just roaming, helping us scout the opposition and the rest of the world, which we can scout because we have the Globetrotter trait. If you look at the instructions I've set, again, we're looking for that defender, that crucial either right back or center back. I'm also always looking, obviously, for the free agents and contingencies, right? An attacker or some sort of a technical midfielder just in case we need an emergency signing. If you look at the youth department, we actually have a really good setup already. We've got some great talent here. Calderon looks like the real deal at goalkeeper, but I am really excited for Lobo, guys. 15 years old, he's already 61 overall and 82 to 92 potential. This is another Salinas in the making. I guarantee you will see him this season. He is going to be a peach of a player. He's going to feature, and this is only going to get better because we have all those traits in the academy section. We have a lot more academy slots open. Some of these players will leave, and we are going to have a primo youth academy. If you look at our setup here, we have a Spanish scout and a Portuguese scout, so we're only really scouting the Southern European region, but we really do want to scout Spain and Portugal for lore purposes, and I'm okay with that. If you look at our scouts, we have, again, a 4.5-star scout and a 4-star scout. Falls perfectly in line with our rules, and we're going to send them to Spain and Portugal 6 months because that's the most we can send it for. We're going to look for playmakers, and we're going to look for Portuguese attackers. All right, and the last thing we have to do before we get into the season here, guys, is our training and development. So the training regime is set up in a way where it's always rest days until the first game of the season. We managed to get all the way to Ibar, and now the training schedule changes and it's all training except for one rest day after the game and no recovery days unless you have that trait. This is mainly done so that match sharpness is actually gained through mostly matches, because before you were able to get to 100 match sharpness before the season even started. I thought that was a little bit weird, so I changed it, and now this is the setup. In terms of our squad hub, it's all filled out, guys, and I have to say there is a lot of youngsters and a lot of guys who are academy products, and I love to see that. Some of the guys actually have been there for 16 years, like Gaia, 17 years, like Soler, 14 for Vasquez, 13 for Guilaman. So this really fits this Valencia career mode, and I'm super happy about that. Everything is ready to go. The wages are correct. The squad limits are all there. They're all adhered to, and we're ready to start the season. Just one more thing. We have to set the development plans. We have 8 development DNA, which means we can have 8 focused development plans, and Tinkerman means we can have, I believe, 5 positional development plans. We're only going to use one for now. It's for Salinas. He's training to be a center forward. I like some of the focused development plans that are under center forward, so we're going to get him into that slot. For the other development plans, we've got Mosquera training as a ball-playing defender. He needs to get that short passing up to be more reliable. Boscagli is training as a stopper, so he gets his strength and his speed up. Burlamaki is training as a deep-lying playmaker. I used this guy a couple of times last season, and I really like how he plays, despite him being really deficient in certain areas, and even his stamina and strength being low. He's really good at passing, and he's really reliable. We've got Coindredi as that box-to-box. He actually came in, got some crucial goals last season. De Ketlar is continually adding to his arsenal of skills, this time being an advanced playmaker, because I feel like with Salinas as striker, he's going to stay in this central attacking midfielder role. Then we've got Marcus Antonio continuously training as an inverted winger. We've got Gozabalas. He's actually going out on loan, so this might change, but he's an advanced playmaker that I really wanted to train, because when he came in last season, I have to say, I mean, this guy for a 69 played like a 75, a 76. He was really good. And then we've got Soler as the playmaker. I usually don't give development plans out to older players like this because balanced usually works better, but he really needs to just focus on being that central midfielder who varies in between and is both a presence in midfield in the build-up, but also when it comes to chance creation and goal scoring. So I really want him to get his playmaking ability up. I mean, I say that, but he has 89 long passing and 93 short passing. He's a monster. He really is. But those are the focused development plans, guys. This is the general squad we have going into the season, and I'm really comfortable with it. I know Salinas is a 71, but whoever watched the first season, I mean, knows Salinas is beast. He's beast, and he's going to get us lots of goals. The bench is nice and strong with the addition of Lee as well. Very versatile, and I'm high on Mosquera as that CB, so hopefully the crucial defender we bring in will be that right back. I'm not too sure about Vas and Nandez, so I'm actually really happy we got that board objective, and I'm really hoping we can get a good signing. But here we go, guys. The first game of this Valencia reboot. It's against Eibar away. But this is a perfect game because it's a minnow, and this is where we can really shine in our 3-4-3 Cruyff diamond. I'm not going to do a full tactical analysis in the first game. I want to keep it light, but they are a minnow, and they will be playing, generally speaking, a little bit more reserved. They'll give us the ball, and we have to dominate. I'm a little bit rusty because I haven't played in quite a while, but we'll see how it goes, guys. The squad is, like I showed you in that previous screen, we're going to go with the full starting lineup here and play as best as we can and get off to a flying start. Here we go, guys. First game against Eibar. Let's have it. I really wasn't kidding about the rustiness, guys. Literally haven't touched the controller in months because of what's been going on with my dad, and I thought this would go badly. But honestly, I didn't do too bad. It was good, crisp passing, great chances early on. Salinas was extra active, but Eibar was defending pretty valiantly. We were doing a lot of things good though. We were switching the play like we were supposed to in the system, stretching the pitch, and then cutting inside and creating chances. Creating chaos. Salinas again with the chance. Again, Eibar makes a good defensive play, but we were mounting on the pressure. And Salinas turned provider this time, slots it for Soler, who goes into the box, and 9 times out of 10, that is a goal. I don't know how Soler missed that. Finally, Eibar get a chance of their own. In the 20th minute, they threaten us and they beat the offside trap here. It's a really good chance, but a really tame effort. Salinas makes the save, and immediately our thought is, okay, play out through in the back, but be confident. Stretch the play, make decisive moves, and we have a really good chance here. De Ketelaere gets it. We play it around. It comes back to De Ketelaere. A really clever pass in for Salinas, and he puts it in the back of the net, guys. It did not take him long, not even a half. He had 7 goals in 9 games last season, and he picked up straight from where he left off, and that was not it, guys. Look at this. Salinas gets it again in this play, and he is a maestro. That should have been a goal. It's saved by the goalie, and he gets his own rebound. It's 2-0, guys. What a start from Salinas. What a start from us. 2-0 against Eibar, but Salinas headlines yet again, guys. This guy is amazing, and honestly, that finish was already really good. It just hit the post, and then he followed up with some determination and got himself another goal. But guys, that wasn't it. That wasn't it, because Salinas is a beast. I'm telling you, look at this. What a finish. Perfect positioning and just buries it in the top corner, guys. A hat trick. What is going on with Salinas now? I cannot tell you enough how good Salinas is, guys. 71 overall, I don't care. He plays like an 85, and everything he touched went to gold this game. He was on steroids. I mean, I thought this went in. I thought he just scored 4 and I was about to lose it. He just dominated them. In fact, we dominated them from minute 1. It was all us, and Eibar really couldn't get anything going past that one chance they had. And Salinas again, this time, turns provider for De Ketelaere. Good hold-up play. De Ketelaere puts it in, guys. 4-0, and it's time to bring out the broom. Let's go. Sweep Eibar away because this was no contest, and we got chance after chance. Soler gets in on the action here. We switch the play very nicely. He surges into the box, gets a snapshot saved by the goalie. But our game plan worked because we pressured them from minute 1 to minute 90, and we got the ball back a number of times. Moriba picks it up at half, and they're so deflated they don't even pick him up. I mean, look at this. Acres of space. No one closes down. What is going on? Moriba hits it, and it's a goal, guys. Whew. What a goal from Moriba, and it's 5-0. Good night. What a start to the season, and what a start for Salinas. 3 goals, 1 assist, and I know this is Eibar, and this might not continue, but I'm scared to think what could become if Salinas keeps this up. I just want to mention thank you so much for anyone who subscribes on Patreon. We've got our first LeSean Span. Thank you so much. If you do like my content, in specific my rule set, you can subscribe there. But in general, if you do like my content here on YouTube, leave a like, subscription. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Laters!